And that brings an end to another voyage. May these tales inspire, connect, and nourish your soul, just as Chef's dish fills your belly. Until next time, keep exploring, learning, and sharing the ancestors' stories, fair winds, and following seas. Greedy Mariani. On a high road, far from any village, lived Mariani, alone. And little wonder. Mariani was a woman, the possessor of quick temper, a scolding tongue, a greedy disposition, but you'll see. Travelers on the high road, surprised by nightfall, would approach Mariani's hut with thankfulness. "If you could spare but a crumb of hospitality," they would beg. And a crumb was what they received. No more, no less. A mere corner of the hut in which to curl up. No bed, no blanket. A pillow? A good jest, that. As for food, a bean, a grain, or two of rice. And this is only if Mariani were in an unaccountably good mood, which happened, once in 10 years. To bring her entertainment to a proper close, Mariani would awaken her guest at dawn. Equipped with 2 hefty arms, she would strip them of their valuables and drive them on their way. At least they had an early start on the day's journey. But were they grateful for that? Indeed not. Away they stumbled, shaking their fists, shrieking backwards, "Mesa! Witch! Thief!" But probably true. Very likely true. One stormy night, Mariani was occupied pouring cane sugar syrup into a huge cauldron. A knock at the door. "On ya?" "Respect," replied Mariani, and opened the door. A man stood there, eyeing the door sill. Timidly, he requested shelter to await the end of the tempest. As the lizard greets the ant, so Mariani welcomed the traveler. This one turned back into the rain and wind, then returned with a sack stuffed to its mouth. He let it fall to the floor with a clink. No doubt about it, only silver clinks so clinkily. Mariani watched with interest. The man politely excused himself, back out the door. Again he came, bearing a second bag. This one also clinked. Back and forth he went twice more, each time returning with another sack, all stuffed as plumply as a roasted turkey, all clinking beautifully. Mariani, missing not a clink, set the cauldron over the fire. She busied herself shelling peanuts for the making of cane syrup tablets, all the while dreaming of those sacks of silver, which would, if she had her way, soon be stashed away under the mapaw tree in her garden. Soon the rain ended. A star appeared. The man raised himself from the bench and prepared to load his mules. He did not forget to thank his hostess with much courtesy, but thanks are a matter of nothing to a miser, a witch, a thief. Not so fast, my dear sir, spoke Mariani. Are these then your manners? You showed yourself from the rain under my roof? Now you think to leave without paying me a centime? Shame! The traveler, his head bowed, murmured pardons. None, but none, madam. I thought to leave you in return for your gracious hospitality. He must have been joking. A sack of silver, if you yourself would care to choose one bag from the four. One of the four? All of the four? It is my fault that my lodging cost so dear? To be exact, 4 sacks of silver. And fortunate that you are at that price. It's not 5 or 6 sacks. The idea! Only 1 bag of silver for an entire hour's shelter. Actually, closer to an hour and a quarter. The stranger did not reply. Clever stranger. He loaded the mules with 3 bags of silver. Not an easy thing to do in the black dark. Then he urged the beast before him with the tune of his snapping whip. Kalinda, ding, ding, dow. Kalinda, ding, ding, dow. Kalinda, ding, ding, dow. Kalinda, ding, 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 dow. Mariani stood on her doorstep and cried, Thief! Render me my due! The stranger seemed not to hear. Maybe he was deaf, which at the moment would have been a blessing. He flicked the mules with his singing whip. Mariani ran after him, tossing insults and abuse with a free tongue. No response. The man stared at the ground as if in deep thought. Thus, they journeyed for some time, the mules and the man mute, Mariani railing and ranting. Finally, having screeched herself out of breath, the old woman panted. Monsieur, the syrup boils. The syrup boils. I must prepare my tablets. Give me my money, sang the stranger. Mariani, I begin to hear you now, but better you turn back now. Poor Mariani. He flipped his whip, and in their sacks the silver clinked a tune. Klinda, ding, ding, dow. Klinda, ding, ding, dow. Klinda, ding, ding, dow. Klinda, ding, 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 dow. I mock your counsel. Counsel, I wish not. I wish my money, howled Mariani. Still, she followed the little band, the mules, and the man. For a long time, long time, they marched in silence, in darkness, along the long, lonely road without encountering a soul. Not one soul. Weary and out of patience, Mariani threatened. Thief! I will escort you to the judge. You shall not escape me. Certain this is that my syrup scorches to cinders. You shall pay me for all that as well as for the lodging. The driver's mules repeated his song. Mariani, I hear you now. I hear you now. Better turn back, poor Mariani. But Mariani, along with a quick temper, scolding tongue, and greedy disposition, possessed a stubborn nature. return home while 3 bags of silver clinked just beyond her fingers? An absurdity. They continued the journey on and on. At last, as they approached a village, dawn announced itself. A cock crowed. The mules vanished. The man faced about and gazed directly at Mariani. Alas, what did she see? A skull with empty sockets, bare teeth, bones clinking in the wind. Mariani fell stone dead of shock, and the zombie, for so he was, disappeared among the tombs of a nearby cemetery. The end. Wow, this is a wonderful, interesting story. Takes you a place that you don't expect. Coming from the book Greedy Mariani or Mariani and Other Folktales of the Antilles by Dorothy Sharp Carter. And first and foremost, I didn't realize Antilles was basically the entire, most of the Caribbean. And, because you hear Antilles and you hear Lesser Antilles. I'm thinking, when I heard Antilles, I guess I was thinking Lesser Antilles. But, the fact that it's called Antilles, I guess that makes sense. Like, it's basically all the West Indies, West Indies. But I guess it's the real name for them. I don't know. I learned something just by trying to figure out where what were the islands that included the Antilles. Yeah, I probably had a brain fart. I probably learned that in like elementary geography and world history and stuff like that. But hey, you forget things that you don't worry about, right? Anyway, Mariani or Mariani is so greedy. When you hear the title Greedy, it's like, yeah, but no, she is gluttonous in her greed at that point. You know what I mean? Like, she would not back down. Like, he gave her a huge bag of silver and she was like, no, you're lucky I'm not asking for 5 or 6 bags. And that is bananas. That's why, growing up, when people be like, oh, how much is this? And then be like, well, how much you got? And you never tell them how much you have. Kids, everybody. If somebody asks you how much you got in reference to how much something is going to cost, you always say the least amount. Be like, you see a jacket and be like, oh, this is probably like a $100 jacket. And they say, well, how much you got? I got $10. Okay? I got 10. I'll give you 10 for this. Because if you tell them, oh, I got like $200, they're going to say, oh, well, yeah, the jacket is $200. Or they're going to say it's like $175. You know what I'm saying? They might leave you with a couple bucks. But you always say, no, I have $5 or $10. Whatever I would say, $5 at most. If you only have $5 there, you got $1. I don't care. You never tell them all the amount of money you have. You just don't do that. They'll rob you. And that's basically what she does. She sees what they have and she's like, oh no, your stay is that entire amount. And that's crazy. She is definitely a con woman, a scammer, a witch, a miser, everything, a despicable landlord, But, so, I was wondering where the zombie party came from, and then I'm thinking like, oh, yeah, they're in Haiti, so it was probably the people that had been robbed by her, and they went to an obia or a practitioner and asked for some way to make her, pay for what she's done. And the fact that I feel like the zombie tried to give her outs, like, yo, just take the money. You good. All right, hey, I'm not listening to you. You good? Hey, go home. You're all right. Do not keep following me. And she did. She kept following. She kept wanting more money. And like literally, she's like, her syrup back home is about to burn up. And I'm like, her home is probably burnt up now. Her home is probably destroyed because she didn't care. She was just so worried about the money. But then she forgot about everything at the house. And then when the sun comes up and he, turns into a zombie, turns into a skeleton, that's what it seems like happens, she just drops dead. I don't know if it was from fright or just exhaustion or what, but she basically dies at that moment. Wow. You know what I mean? Wow. It just goes to show sometimes being a little greedy is okay. Wanting what you feel you deserve is okay. Wanting more is okay. But when you get to the level where you got to have it all, this ain't Pokemon. You can't catch it all, but you might catch something you don't want. And she ain't want that death, but she got it, But yeah, this story was fun to read. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed how it went, the atmosphere of it. I'm guessing it probably could have been told as a ghost story, more in line with a ghost story. But sometimes you catch it, sometimes you don't. But yeah, so that's all I have for this. Anyway, go see Chef. He has a wonderful Haitian recipe for you. And until next time, thank you for coming on this journey with me. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. And as always, have a blessed day. Welcome, my friends at the Galley. I am your chef, and today we will be creating Koden'n, or stew turkey, the Haitian way. Now, what will you need for this wonderfully delicious recipe? 2 pounds turkey wings cut into chunks, 2 lime to clean the meat, 1 cup of vinegar to clean the meat, 1 large onion sliced, 1 tablespoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 tablespoon tomato paste, 2 sprigs of thyme, half green bell pepper sliced, half red bell pepper sliced, 2 tablespoons of Haitian herbs. You can find how to make it in the food section. Now, how do we put this together? Easy. First, put turkey in a large bowl and rinse turkey pieces in cold water. Drain the water and firmly wipe turkey with lime halves. Pour vinegar and let sit for a couple of minutes. Then pour and rinse the meat again with water. Return turkey to a large bowl. Add a cooking spoon of Haitian herbs. Pour over the turkey, cover and let marinate in the refrigerator for at least 1 hour. Now, heat the oil. Brown the turkey for 35 minutes. Covered, reserving the marinade juices. Add tomato paste, remaining onion, thyme, and peppers slices to reserved marinade juices, and pour over the turkey once it's browned. Lower the heat and simmer for 35 minutes, covered, stirring occasionally so sauce does not stick too much. Taste and adjust salt. Serve with rice, boiled sweet potatoes, or plantains. And that is it, my friends. Now, go. Make this recipe yours. And until I have another wonderful recipe for you, remember how greedy Mariani was, and don't be like her. Until next time, my friends, as always, enjoy.
Ahoy, and welcome aboard the Afro Tales podcast. I am your Griot, Amon Mazingo, here to guide you through captivating tales rooted in the histories of indigenous and African descendant peoples across the Americas and the Caribbean. But the journey does not end there. I, Chef, will share a delicious recipe inspired by the stories you have just heard. So, with no further ado, let us set sail on this new age of exploration.